Welcome to the great and dreadful segment of the Fire Zone. This is a great time for us, brothers and sisters, and a dreadful time for these demons and devils. Today's presentation is titled The Injil, Our Lifeboat. The Injil, Our Lifeboat. The Injil is all 22 chapters of Revelations that has been revealed to us by the breaker of the seven seals, the master prophet, Master Solomon. He is the son of man. Okay? However, before we get into our presentation for the day, we're going to focus on a really big part of what's taking place right now, and that is their attempt to cover up the Holocaust. The Holocaust. This is what the scriptures call, in the Abrahamic covenant, it talks about us being enslaved for 400 years, and in addition to the enslavement will be affliction and torment. These devils want to whitewash everything, and they are calling what we've been through slavery. It was not slavery. Slavery is 10% of what we went through. Slavery is the business aspect. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. And you look up the definition of slavery, other Injil warriors have been exposing this. You look up the definition of slavery. Nowhere in the definition does it include beat, rape, sodomize, torture, filleting skin, cannibalism, pedophilia, and just killing us for sport. Nowhere in slavery does killing for sport included. So it was not slavery. What we went through is the Holocaust, unimaginable, countless and endless terrors done to us, torturing us. Everything that you can see on a scary movie, or anything you find on a scary movie, they did that and more. So we want to make it clear, and I want you to go look something up, brothers and sisters. It's called El Mina Slave Dungeon. Now, this is somewhere in Ghana. This was a slave dungeon. Now, what these devils have done is they whitewash it and call it a slave castle. And they're just so sick. I'm so tired of these devils, because slave and castle don't even go in the same sentence together. You know, when you think of a castle, you're automatically thinking of royalty. You know, you're thinking of the most exquisite living styles and living conditions. You're thinking of somebody living like a damn king, and they're calling it a slave castle. So what they're telling you, with the picture they're trying to paint, with them whitewashing it and telling their white lies, the picture they're trying to paint is that, we were slaves in a castle, and just hearing that face value, not even having time to investigate that, it just puts in your mind, that wasn't that bad. A slave castle? I want to go visit. They're sick and they're disgusting. This was a dungeon, a slave dungeon, and that ain't even a good word for it. The house of horrors. That's what I would call it, a house of the Holocaust. And what they did was, they would bring these slaves. They brought us in there as they prepared, what did they call it, the door of no return. They brought these slaves into this holding building, and they would have us sit us there, the least amount of time you've been there for 3 weeks, anywhere between 3 weeks and 3 months. And they would go ahead and load us up into the ships and ship us off. It would take about a month to get to America from where this specific dungeon is located. And they had us in these small rooms. The Nelson Museum, they're saying that it was 200 slaves per room. We know that it could have been way more than that. They had us in there packed up like sardines. They had us pissing, defecating, eating, sleeping, vomiting, all in the same area. And what they did was they dug small trenches in the room for our body fluids to travel down under, so we weren't really necessarily sitting on it literally. So they were, which is so disgusting, brothers and sisters. However, we were throwing up. We're sick. We're not even eating what we are used to eating. We're eating shitlings and whatever other unedible parts of the animal they want to throw at us. So pig feet, shitlings, whatever they don't want to ingest and they can't ingest. And we're sitting in there, have been raped and sodomized, so all the body fluids that come along with that, blood, pus, their seed running out of us and all of their diseases on us. We're sitting in there with wounds on us. So many of our brothers and sisters died. You need to understand that the only ones that made it here to America were those of us who were strong enough to even go through the process of even getting here, because that was another part of the Holocaust. We've been experiencing the Holocaust from the minute that we were ripped up off of our land, all the way up into 2019, and 2020 came in with a plague, which let everyone know that Allah is keeping His word, and that those who have tried to destroy us and kill us off are receiving their judgment, which are these Europeans. So, and their black-faced children. So, anyways, let me get back to this slave dungeon. They had us in this room, and all of these body fluids, our body fluids, their body fluids, throwing up, bleeding, that blood, sweat, and tears that these demons like to hoop and holler about as to the reason as we should stay here. They had us laying and sleeping in our blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm looking at the video on YouTube, and the tour guide is explaining how flies and mosquitoes, these are things I didn't even consider. The natural elements of nature. And just imagine being in a hot climate, because that's where they were storing us at, like goods, had us stored up. As a matter of fact, all the resources that they stole from us, gold, silver, grains, all of that, they had that in better storage conditions than they had us in. And we're the ones who are alive. We are the human beings, what they called us livestock. And so they would treat an item or a material better than us as humans. Brothers and sisters, that just goes so deep right there, because we already made it clear that they treat their animals better than us. However, they also treat objects and materials better than they would ever think of treating us. So, all these resources that they stole from us are in a room or whatever, and they just have way more. The living conditions, even for or the storing conditions for these resources that they were going to trade off, which they stole from us, those conditions are much better than ours. And like I said, these flies and mosquitoes eating away at us, brothers and sisters. And they said that when they came into this slave dungeon, after chattel slavery ended, and people are going in to look at this area, these devils. I mean, it's not like they left it a cleaned up house. Come on now. The floor was filled with shit, blood, and piss for hundreds of years old. And what they did was they had to go ahead and put like a piece of wood or some type of flooring over it, and they show you, and of course they whitewash the building by painting it white. However, they show you that the tour guide was pointing out on the wall towards the floor where you could still see the shit and blood stains of our people, of us, and our mothers, and our fathers, and our children. So, everything that is in that room, blood, sweat, tears, piss, shit, that's the same thing that we came over here, because that was just in the transition of us, coming from our home over here to America. That was just a resting point or a stop-off point. However, when we came over here, those horrors and torture only intensified. It only intensified. Okay, so now they are, fast forward, we here have made it to America. You know, our blood, sweat, tears, shit, piss, everybody fluid you can think of, we're being forced to lay in it and sleep in it. And having us defecate in each other's mouth. You know, and then putting rails and bars and metal over our mouth so that we couldn't spit it out. You know, so you're just walking around for weeks with shit in your mouth, and we're not allowed to, we can't get it out of our mouth. I mean, you don't want to swallow it. So just disease upon disease festering amongst us because of these devils. And every single disease we're looking at today, chicken pox, the common cold, the flu, any STD you can think of, herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, what they call trichomoniasis, all these little nasty parasites, all of this came from these devils. And then if you go dig a little deeper, you'll find out that this pig is not, the pig is not from America. It's not from this part of the planet. It comes straight out of Europe. Earthworms come straight up out of Europe. Those are parasites. They brought all of these nasty parasites over here to America and completely wiped out the native, well, I won't say completely because there are a few what they call Native Americans around. They've knocked the majority of them out, took over the land, got them sick with all their diseases that these Europeans brought over, chicken pox and all kinds of other STDs, and brought liquor over. And so these devils, they're horrible. We can no longer, we can't live with them. The time of energy deprivation is up. Their time period is up. They was made for this time period. However, now the time period is come and pass. So there's no purpose in them even being here, and they cannot survive up under the conditions of which the planet is about to be, with the energy returning back to the planet. They only thrive under deprivation, energy deprivation. When there's no longer a deprivation, they're now withering away, and it's killing them. They can't handle the pressure coming back. You know, it's confusing their thoughts. They're in constant conflict with each other. They're the quickest to come to a boiling point or heat up, and that's why you're going to see all this conflict. You're starting to see it now, but you're going to see all this conflict between these European nations here in a couple of days. So, brothers and sisters, this is a very important subject that they have tried to erase. Just like they tried to erase the Abrahamic covenant, they've tried to completely erase our identity, what we've been through, and our complete experience. So, we're going to keep, we're not going to let up off of the Holocaust. We're not going to let up off of what they did to us, because their whole agenda is to get us to forget what happened to us, get us to forget why we are even over here, get us to forget about the Abrahamic covenant, which is our reward in writing, and they want us to forget everything about us, you know. And so we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let up off of the Holocaust, and you better not forget either, brothers and sisters. It was not slavery. Stop letting them lie to you and call it slavery. Slavery is an economic a way of capitalism. Maximum overhead, maximum profit, minimum overhead. That's as much money as possible without paying anything out. Okay, so that don't include torture, rape, sodomizing, and murder. And having fun while they doing it. What they say slavery is a white man's sexual playground. That ain't no slavery. The Holocaust is a white man's sexual playground, and they did any and everything they wanted to do to us. There's not anything that they have done to anyone else, an animal or a plant or anything there's not anything that they've done to anyone else on the level of what they've done to us. And there's nothing they could show you on TV that will really explain what they did to us, because they cannot show it to you. You wouldn't be able to fathom it. You'd be disgusted, and you wouldn't even be watching TV if they showed you what they were really up to, what they were doing then. And they've tried to they're still trying to get away with doing it now. However, the judgment's coming down on them so hard, brothers and sisters, they're having to step back and focus on themselves and what they can do to try to give themselves a little bit more time. So they've switched over to being deceptive now. They're starting to be they're being deceptive with it, because there's different laws in place, and they can't just hang our brothers and sisters right in front of our face. They would love to do it. That's their wet dream, to be able to just run around here killing us without any consequence, and or without any type of backlash. And they're really going to start going crazy here in a couple of days. However, their thing right now is to trick us and deceive us. So I'm going to get into the other part of today's presentation, the Injil, our lifeboat. Do you know what a lifeboat is, brothers and sisters? A lifeboat is like a small boat that's like on the side of a ship, and that lifeboat is for emergency purposes. The lifeboat is in case, if there's some malfunctions with the ship, or we need to get away. The ship is heading look at the Titanic. The ship was heading towards a big old block of ice, gonna destroy everyone on the ship. And that lifeboat is in place in case there's an emergency. Now, that lifeboat is what's gonna save your life in the event that this ship that you're on, or this big boat that you're on, it stops working, malfunctions. Like I said, whoever's driving the boat, decides to go off course, you got this lifeboat so that you can get back to safety. Now, I'm using this example because it's, when I come up here, brothers and sisters, I try to explain things in such a way that's so simple that a 2-year-old could understand. That way I know that, if I aim to make this as clear as for a 2-year-old can understand, then I know that anyone who's hearing any of our brothers and sisters that this information is coming across, you can understand where I'm coming from. So, the lifeboat analogy that I'm using today. The Injil is the only book that gives understanding to what's going on right now. Okay, the Quran doesn't do that. The sealed up King James Bible y'all reading from in church don't do that. The Message to the Black Man doesn't do that. How to Eat to Live does not do that. Okay, there is no book that gives understanding to this time period except for the Injil. Let me say that again. There is no book that gives understanding to this time period that we are in except for the Injil. Now, the Injil is another word for gospel, apocalypse, revelations. And revelations, just look at that. Revelations, reveal, is something that's to be revealed. We know that Revelations is the book for the end of times. Now, the Son of Man, Daniel, Joshua is another word for Jesus. Son of Man is another word for Solomon. Jonah, the Lamb of God, the High Priest. All of these names represent the Son of Man. We call him Master Solomon because he has mastered all scriptures of Revelations. Just like Master Farad Muhammad, he's the God of this time. If you go to a dojo and you're working with your sensei or a teacher, the one who's teaching you how to fight, they've mastered that they've mastered that craft. So we show that respect and we call him Master, not to be confused with Massa. These devils that have presided over us and have them under our thumb and have put us through the Holocaust and have mastered nothing, okay, and have taken a title that they have not even earned or don't even have not earned anything, they haven't earned respect for anything about them. So let's not get Master Solomon confused with the word massa. That's these devils. Now, this book has been revealed, and this book is 22 chapters long, and it was locked up by 7 seals. Okay, now the book tells you this. Go read it. And only the master prophet could unlock these 7 seals to the 22 chapters. Now 22 chapters of Revelations divided by the 7 seals give you 3.14. That's pi. Okay, for those of you who I'm letting you know now that pi is a perfect circle. We know that a circle is 360 degrees. It's a completion. Only this Injil is the completion of all books, and only one person could come and bring that completion to us and give us understanding, give us knowledge of self. So what I'm saying is that with this, the Injil that's been given to us, this is our God mind. No other prophet had this information or knowledge, and only one person could do it. And the Injil explains what's happening right now. It tells you who your enemies are. It lets us know how the war of Armageddon is going to start. That's what what's taking place over in the Middle East. Iran and Syria, under the direct instruction of Master Fraud Muhammad, which is Michael and his angels, are going to defeat the dragon and his angels, which is the House of Saud, false Israel, America, and Britain. So we already know about that. That's the Injil has revealed that. It told us about how tribulations is going to take place, which is another war to come after the war of Armageddon, or it's an extension of that. You know, and then you got all the European nations going against each other, at war with each other. You have China and India as a result of the war of Armageddon with the European nations. You have China and India coming in and will be taking America and Britain out. They're called Death and Hades in scriptures. And they not coming to play no games. You know, they don't have any remorse, or they're not going to have any they will not be holding back. And that's known as tribulations. The Injil tells us about another war that will take place once we get back home to our land. So the Injil talks about everything that's going on right now. Even the Injil showed us that the catalyst for war, which I like to call the catalyst of war, which is Iran not going back to the JCPOA deal. The Injil showed us that Iran was not going to go back to the JCPOA deal, and the Injil told you the exact time frame that they would be under the foot of the nations for 3.5 years. That was from 2015 to 2018. 2018 in June is when the deal was broken. So we need to understand that the Injil is your God mind. It gives us knowledge of self, and it's the only thing that can explain what's going on right now. And there was only one person who could even unseal that book to get this information to us. So for everyone out here who's pretending, saying that they have any knowledge for you, any truth for you, that they have any answers as to what's about to happen and how we getting up out of here, they're lying. Because if you didn't break the 7 seals, then you need to shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, you're either a time anchor, a viper, or a demon. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Time anchor. You're still talking about message to the black man. Message to the black man is not getting us home. And you're still talking about how to eat to live. How to eat to live is not going to get us home. And they're telling us we need a divorce from this reality, but don't go nowhere. So essentially, you're going to put us through more hell. So we sitting here right up under these devils, and we is sitting up here in the pig pen with them, trying to dodge the shit that's being thrown all over the place. It just doesn't make sense. You know, then you got the chief demon Farrakhan telling us that we're sinful and that we ain't going anywhere. Yet America is under judgment. You know, he done sat up there on the swine song and said that this war with Russia and Ukraine could lead to the war of Armageddon. We know that's a lie. The war of Armageddon is sparked by America and Britain getting kicked out the Middle East and false Israel going under siege. by Iran and Syria. So we already know that that's a lie. However, he's telling you that you're not going anywhere. He haven't built nothing for you. Okay? He's pushing reparations. And, but telling you to divorce from this reality. Come out of her, my people. Have no understanding of what come out of her, my people means. He's lying. Come out of her, my people means leave. Come out altogether. When a baby is born out of the mother's womb, you cut the umbilical cord and you keep it moving. Anything else could kill the child. Leaving the baby connected to that umbilical cord of the mother, or leaving the baby halfway hanging out the womb, or leaving the baby in the womb too long. All of that can kill the child. We are the nation that is about to be born. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to abort us. They're trying to keep us from being born. They're trying to keep us from turning on the lights and connecting the dots. Understanding who we are and who our enemies are. And they're using these demons, vipers, and these time anchors to do it. So, the Injil, our lifeboat. Everyone can see that this vision of the American dream, this vision of religion, I don't care what your religion is, all of these false visions and false narratives are going down the drain. This American dream, it's a nightmare. We know that. Okay, and the nightmare ain't nothing but trying to keep putting us through the Holocaust. Maximum profit, minimum overhead, while destroying us off and mutilating us and killing us off in the process. If they had it their way, they would take it further than the Holocaust, and they would just completely wipe us out and put their cyborg vision in place, where they are using our minds. All you need is a brain, and they've gotten rid of all biological life. A brain and a robot. And so, in their mind, they have another plan, or they have a vision for when this vision fades out. They got another vision they have, or their vision is they have another vision or another way they envision themselves evolving. Because that's what they like to use all the time. We're evolving, and they think that they're constantly getting better and better when they ain't doing nothing but getting weaker and weaker, and they don't see that. So anyways, brothers and sisters, you're our lifeboat. This vision of the American dream, religion, false narratives, false Israel over in our taking our inheritance, the house of Saud, renaming our land Saudi Arabia. They sitting in our land pretending to be us. This is all part of the same vision. And everyone can see that this vision is going down the drain. Every corner they turn, they getting hit. And they not expecting it. Okay? The biggest thing they can't shake off their back, the biggest monkey on their back, is this plague, COVID-19. And they're not getting out of it. This plague is direct judgment, and it's knocking them out like flies. They've been lying to us about that. They haven't been telling us the truth that it's been passing over us. We know it's passing over us. They have been lying to us here in America, telling us that black folks, and then they try to slip brown folks in there too, that we are the most at-risk people because we won't get the jab. So they've been lying to us because we know that this plague is passing over us. And so anyone looking can see that this vision that they have is going down the drain. And so that leaves the next big question. Well, what's the next vision? What's coming in? If this vision is going out, what vision is coming in? So then you have to you got to look around and see, well, what vision is coming into more and more into fruition, or is coming more and more into view every day. The Abrahamic covenant, that says that we would be strangers, sojourners, which means temporary in a land that is not ours, undergone being enslaved, afflicted, and tormented, which is the Holocaust. For 400 years, that's us. All of that is us. And that nation whom afflicted us would be judged. We would come out with great substance. We would go back home, never to be uprooted again. The Passover that's spoken about in Exodus, which Exodus means a great exit. That tells you a lot of things you need to know right there, brothers and sisters. So these scriptures, the unsealed scriptures, the Injil, the Abrahamic covenant, explains exactly what's taking place right now. And this is your lifeboat. This is our vision. This is the vision of the original man and woman. Okay? The vision has never changed. You just wasn't aware of it. Just because you wasn't aware of something don't mean it's in place. It wasn't in place. Just because you don't know your mama's cooking dinner right now don't mean that dinner ain't going to be ready when you go in the house. Just because you don't see a process of something happening don't mean that it's not taking place. Okay? And that's where faith comes in. Because you don't have to see it all the way completed, but you see everything else happening in its favor. In other words, you ain't seen the full-on storm yet, but you see the wind blowing, the trees all around. You see the birds flying and going to shelter. You see the clouds coming in and the sky getting dark. So you know it's a storm coming. The rain ain't came down yet, but you know it's coming. Okay, so with this two visions, there's a people without a vision will perish. So what they did was they made us forget our vision. They made us forget our true nature. They had tried to strip that away from us. Okay, and like I said, just because you didn't know that you had a second option, you didn't know your true vision, don't mean that it wasn't there. Just because you didn't know you had a second option don't mean that there was never a second option. Okay, however, all this information has been revealed to us by the breaker of the seven seals. The seals had to be broken first so that we can get this information. And so what they have done is they've covered up our vision. And so we're in this big old boat that we know is heading towards this big old block of ice. You know that this boat is going down. You know that this vision is going down the drain. Okay? The Injil is our lifeboat. The Injil is what's going to get us to safety. And why? Because the Injil is what returns our God minds to us. Okay? And it gives us a full understanding of what's taking place. Something as clear as knowing who your enemies are. Now you're not up under the thumb of these devils and demons anymore because you can identify them. That right there, that's changing your life right there. That's not even the best part yet. We still have to get home. That's the best part out of all of it. However, you've been able to discern your enemies from yourself so that you can be qualified to be able to go home, so that you can have your name in the Lamb's Book of Life, because that's what it boils down to, having your name in the Lamb's Book of Life. And you do that by regaining your knowledge of self back. So the lifeboat is what carries you to safety, and that's what the Injil is doing. We can go even a little bit deeper into it and look at the story of Noah's Ark. There's a big flood coming. Nobody wanted to listen. Noah, who also represents the Son of Man, built an ark. And then there's just so much to unpack right then and there, because there's specific instructions in the story of Noah's Ark on how the Injil key is built. And everything is mathematics, brothers and sisters. Ain't nobody just making up something and coming to tell you just this elaborate story. Everything can be proven. And if you go into the story of Noah's Ark, there's a formation of the Injil key, and God gives Noah instructions on exactly how to build the ark, which is the Injil key. And then only those on the ark were the ones who were saved, who were saved from the flood. Everyone else was caught up in the flood, which we know there's not a literal flood of water coming over the planet. That's tribulations. So, and the flood that was coming, only Noah, and of course now the angel warriors who have knowledge of this information, or who can see the angel, are the only ones preparing for the flood. And so this ark will be floating on the waters, which that's also angel language. We know that when China and India come over here, which is tribulations, those of us in the ark, which is the 144,000, and our Shia brothers and sisters, and Master Fraud Muhammad, Solomon, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Master Solomon, we would not be caught up in tribulations. So even that whole ark, floating on the waters, that's also angel language, brothers and sisters. This is why it's important that you get in there, because the seals have already been broken. You get in there and lift these weights and regain your God mind. Get your God mind back, brothers and sisters, because that's what we need for us to build our paradise. We need that for we can have our heaven. When we get back home to our land in Arabia, we need to have our God mind so we can start preparing our paradise exactly how we want it. And my paradise is not the same as your paradise. Okay? I might like strawberry ice cream. You might like chocolate ice cream. My paradise is different from yours. Our God minds have to be returned to us so that we can build our paradise and however we want our heaven to be. Because what they taught us in church is that you die and you go to heaven or hell. This heaven is already prepared. What if it's a bunch of stuff up there you don't like? It's just all a lie. But even if you entertain it, it still don't add up. That's what's so beautiful about math. You don't have to sit there and speculate if it's right or wrong. It's only one right answer. What they tell you in the church is, oh, you die and go to heaven. And, young people my age are making jokes. What if I get to heaven and it's not exactly how I want it? These are things to consider when they sitting up there lying to you. That's a real question. If they tell me I'm going to die and go to heaven, how do I know that this heaven is going to be something that I like? Because it's not something I put together. So just start questioning these things that these devils and demons are telling that don't make no sense. Because people my age, it's a joke to them, and they be like, man, what if I don't like it in heaven? I'm going to ask for, can I do things the way I want it? And, that's a big old joke to people. However, your nature, our nature, we already know deep down within that half of these things that they done told us, all of these things don't make any sense. We just been accepting it because you didn't know that there was any other choice. You didn't know that there was another vision outside of this American dream. You didn't know that you had options. So, your lifeboat, our lifeboat, the angel, that's the only way up out of here, brothers and sisters. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When that lifeboat is your last resort, and not only is it your last resort, that's the only safest resort. And that's what the angel is. That's your only option. It's your only choice. Anything outside of that spells out destruction. And the thing is, these devils, they've been lying to us so much and tricking us. And now it's to the point where they have been exposed so much that the only thing they can do now is try to trick us and deceive us. They can trick us into accepting reparations instead of going back home. Trick us into thinking that we just went through slavery instead of the Holocaust. So they're downplaying what we went through. Therefore, you don't even see a reason why we should receive a reward for what we went through. Because in your mind, everybody went through slavery. But nobody has been through the Holocaust except for us. However, since they have downplayed it to slavery, you don't see that you should be getting a reward for what we went through because you looking around and you say, well, what do other people get for slavery? These devils been doing this to everyone. Nobody's been through the Holocaust. Period. Point blank. So start understanding that, because they're trying to trick us into not accepting anything. And while they're tricking us, they got this House of Assad sitting on our land, living good. And they got these false Jews over there in the Middle East, stealing our birthright, and they living even better. So That's what they're doing. They're tricking us. And then what they do is they put these black-faced demons in front of us, these black-faced devils, and tell us how we should be thinking, how we should be acting, how we should be walk, talk, behave, dress, everything. So then they put them in place to keep us under the thumb, keep us blind, deaf, and dumb. We don't even think that we should be getting anything. That's not even a thought that crosses your mind. As a matter of fact, these demons is telling you, you better be grateful for what you have. Count your blessings. Because there's somebody else right now who has it way worse. And ain't nobody on the planet had it as bad as us. Period. We've had it the worst out of all of creation. And let me tell you something. We the only ones out of all of creation that had the balls to go through this experience. So while these demons are in your face telling you, you need to be grateful, count your blessings and blah, 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 they're lying. They're straight up lying, and they're being evil because we don't owe them nothing. If anything, they have taken everything from us and given us nothing. They have taken our gold from us. We are gold. And they've taken our creative ideas and they've built their fortress. They've built their heaven and their paradise. So understand, the only thing they can do right now is trick us and deceive us into being sleep, being programmed as Negro bots, giving up our reward by accepting reparations. You know, you're giving up your whole country in the Middle East. You're giving up Arabia for some damn blood-soaked, feces-soaked, piss-soaked, sweat-soaked states. We don't want to be nowhere. Why would you wouldn't even want to sleep in your piss, shit, blood, and sweat. So why would you want to live in it? Come on now. So, you know, and then these demons, they always saying the work ethic just ain't the same. And you young people are worse. Y'all really don't want to work. We are exhausted. We have done nothing but worked our asses off while being terrorized and tortured to do so. So I'm just tired of saying that. And brothers, sisters, you better stop accepting them demons in your face doing that. Because the more you start putting your foot down with these demons, and I'm not talking about getting violent and fighting and all this other demon behavior. No, ma'am. No, sir. Stop accepting bullshit. When they come at you with telling you your worth ethic ain't the same and how young people don't want to get no job and you guys don't have enough fortitude to even make it to retirement. We are exhausted working our asses off for these devils. Okay? Going to school. Trying to compete with these devils and demons to get a better spot on the plantation. It's sick and it's disgusting what they have even put us through. Meanwhile, you still killing off our babies, telling us to abort these children that we cannot afford. And that because the black man isn't in the home, the original man, that you don't have a family unit and you can't afford these babies, you need to get rid of them. And then they abort our babies and take our fetuses and do all kinds of things with our unborn children to help themselves. They are sick. Taking our gold, our creativity, physically, you know, just stealing from our bodies, just stealing from our wombs, stealing our organs. Stealing our intellectual ideas and abilities. So, stop letting these demons and devils get in your face and make up shit. Just like a demon told me, yeah, you gonna have to, in this world, I'm explaining, and I didn't know that this was a demon, but I'm explaining how, at the time I didn't until I started reflecting. But I'm explaining to this woman how, capitalism works and how they always want to steal something from us, take our resources and turn around and charge us for it. This demon gonna say, anything in this world you want to have, you gonna have to get up and work for it. Sick. Man, these demons are sick. They're sick. They see us as lazy. They see us as unworthy, heathens, sloppy, disrespectful. They see us as trash. They see us as lower than dirt. They think we are so lazy. These demons ain't right, brothers and sisters. And the thing is, their devil fathers, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, they built this whole country off of grand theft, stealing, destroying, murdering. They didn't pay for anything they have. Have you been listening? That's the whole thing about capitalism. You maximum profit, minimum overhead. That's stealing. Do you not understand? That's what stealing is. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. So you're not paying us our worth. Okay, how did Master Solomon put it? If I work for your business, you feel like you think you're doing me a favor as a devil for hiring me. Okay, but I'm working for you. I bought $8,000 in today. Okay, but you're paying me $10 an hour, and I worked 8 hours. So I walk away with $80 for the day, and Master walks away with $8,000. That's stealing. That's stealing. You think, I got a job, I'm on payroll, I'm doing good. Ain't nobody taking advantage of me. I'm getting paid. No, you're not. It's stealing. And I really didn't realize it until I spent a little bit of time in jail, which a lot of our brothers and sisters have been through this. I spent a little time in jail, and they really slave those inmates away. You're getting paid $1 a day to do whatever they want you to do, because there is not anyone else in that jail working as hard as the damn inmates. Let me make that clear. There is nobody in the prison or in the jail cell that's working as hard as the inmates. I seen it firsthand. This is a literal example of what I'm explaining to you on the other side of the coin. There is nobody in America that is working harder than the original man and woman. Okay, let me say that again for whatever demons this might come across. Since you want to call us lazy, talking about we need to work. Anything you want to have, you're going to have to work for. There ain't nobody working harder than us, the original man and woman. So what are you talking about? Stop letting these demons get in your ear, brothers and sisters. Because they ain't doing nothing but defending Massa and trying to get our programming back online so that we can keep working for Massa. Okay, and then these demons can still keep hiding in the background. So, brothers and sisters, understand that these demons and devils, all they can do at this point is try to trick and deceive us, because everything is being laid out on the table. We done seen every angle of their vision. Master Solomon and came and restored our minds and our vision to us of the Abrahamic covenant, our God mind, which is the Injil, all 22 chapters of Revelations. And everything is out on the table. At this point, the only thing they can do is trick and deceive us into not getting on that lifeboat and getting the hell up off of that this big old ship that's heading towards its doom, heading towards its death, heading towards a big old iceberg. The only thing they can do is trick and deceive you. Keep drinking with us. Stay high. Stay on this entertainment. Keep running around butt naked, and complaining that we don't have any respect as the original woman. The only thing they can do is keep telling us to go against our nature, and don't get on that lifeboat. You don't need that lifeboat. Stay with everyone else. Keep partying with us. While they have you so partied out, so drunk and high, you don't even see that you are coming a head-on collision to your death and your demise. Which that iceberg that America, these European countries are heading towards is for them. That's not for us. We're supposed to be getting on a lifeboat and getting the hell out of here, getting out of town, preparing to go back home to Arabia, getting our God minds prepared, uploaded, which is the Injil. And just having a full understanding and scope of what you're even looking at. And the biggest thing is understanding who your enemies are. Because once you start piecing together who your enemies are and start looking at what's going on around us, okay, and start looking at the prophecy that the angel is giving us, you be right in step. You right in step with time. You're not behind time. Okay, and you're not rushing like these devils are. They know their time is up, so everything with them is a big old rush. So, brothers and sisters, the only thing they can do at this point is trick us into not getting on our lifeboat and not uploading the Injil. That's the only thing they can do at this point, because everything has been laid out on the table. They have been exposed for the demons and devils they are. Farrakhan has been exposed as the chief demon he is. And there's no getting around it. There's nothing else they can do at this point except for try to trick and deceive us. So that when they receive their the full wrath of their judgment, we can be going down with them. That's what they want. They want us to go down with them. So they saying since they can't have us, they don't want nobody to have us, not even each other. These demons and devils feel like if they can't keep us under their thumb, if they can't have us to themselves, to torment, torture, and still enslave us in every way possible by taking our creative ideas, they feel like if we can't have you, this is how these devils are thinking. And that's how they talking to us. These devils and demons. They're saying that if they can't have us, we can't have each other. If they can't have us, then we can't go back home. If we don't sit here and keep building their heaven, we don't get to have our own heaven back in our own home. So pay attention to the rhythm and just everything coming from these demons and devils that you think it, even when you think they're saying something motivational or something that could help you, listen to what they're saying. It always gets back to you ain't shit, you ain't nothing, you're lazy, and you're lucky that you was brought over here. That's all it boils down to us when it comes to these demons and devils. And when you listen to them speak, family members or whoever is in your face pretending, trying to save face, pay attention to what they're saying and how they think. These devils and demons are exposing themselves so quick. These demons are being exposed so quick, brothers and sisters. Only thing you can do right now is willingly allow yourself to be tricked and deceived to not getting on our lifeboat. All skin folk ain't kin folk. They look like us, walk like us, talk like us. However, they don't act like us. They don't think like us. And they are so good at blending in. It is blowing my mind how much these demons try to blend in. So, brothers and sisters, it's up to you. Ain't nobody gonna force you to get on this lifeboat. Nobody's gonna force you to upload your God mind. Nobody's gonna beg you. Nobody's gonna do any of that. All of this has to come from within yourself. Islam is self-sufficient. Either this is a part of your nature or it isn't. Or you've been away from your nature for so long that you've allowed yourself to forget who you are. Either way, you have to face the consequence for that as well. Nobody can talk you out of getting on our lifeboat, the angel, but yourself. These demons and devils can trick you and try to talk you out of it. However, at the end of the day, you have to get on this lifeboat, brothers and sisters. You have to if you plan on getting up out of here. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and upload our God minds. Thank you for having me. Fire Zone out.